will be posted to the EACA website. So I notice it's top of the hour, 2 o'clock East Coast time on Friday the 16th. Welcome everyone to the EACA webcast on internet advertising. Proud to have with us today Brian Cash of Alpine Internet, developer of the EACA website and developer of a new product for the exhibit industry, EAC Space. Brian will tell you more about EAC Space, websites for the exhibit industry. Just one other housekeeping note before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please just use the chat box at the bottom right of the screen. I will be monitoring that. And if it's something that needs to be answered right away, I'll sort of interrupt and let Brian know. Otherwise, we'll do a Q&A at the end of the session to answer any questions that you might have. But without any further ado, let me introduce you to Brian Cash with Alpine Internet. Thanks, Brian.
Great, thanks, Jim. So I'm here to talk to you all about a few opportunities we have in tying in EACA with your online marketing efforts. We have launched a new website that we're for 2018 called the Exhibit Advisor, and that's at exhibitoradvisor.com. You can go there now and visit if you like, but stay on here with us, and we'll go through the specifics of how the site works and how you might be able to enhance your presence in this resource guide. It's an online resource guide. We don't have any plans to take it to print, and it is designed to help people that are looking for exhibit resources, help them find you, help them find other resources that they will need in their show city. So the EAC Space effort is a new service that we're providing from Alpine Internet that is websites and web services for the exhibit industry. We have been in the industry for many years. We've been working with EACA probably for about 20 years, I think. And we understand the terminology, we understand your language, we understand your business, we understand B2B marketing, and we feel like we have a lot to offer for this community. So let's move on, and we'll get started on the first thing that's most important, and that is why. Why do we have exhibitadvisor.com? So the big problem that we've seen for years in this industry is simply that your customers need to know how you do what you do, what you do and how you do it, and then they need to become aware of new services, etc. Because even though we're in a face-to-face industry in the exhibit industry, our customers buy our services from afar, and traditionally that's meant the phone. But your customers are generally moving online today. And even though you may have a large book of business today, and you're in top shape, and your contacts are extensive, your online services, unless they're in top shape, you may be losing share to your online savvy competitors. All right. So, we always ask, do you have too much business? Do you have too much website traffic? Do you have too many followers on your social media? The problem, generally people don't have too many of any one of those things. And essentially the real question is, are all of those efforts, regardless of the volume, are all of those efforts actually reaching your most qualified prospects and buyers? And typically we're seeing that a lot of folks are putting their marketing assets, resources into a video or into some kind of a brochure or something like that, and then it only gets handed to people, or it only shared person to person. And what we wanted to try to do is try to give you a little bit of a megaphone so that you can share this with more people. I show this one example, which is typical, and that is that it's a really great video from a company that did a beautiful job with an exhibit with a great customer. And so far it has 19 views, and that's a 2-month-old video. And those aren't the kinds of numbers that you'd like to see when you're talking about marketing assets. So, of course, online investment is critical. There's a really great reason why companies are spending thousands of dollars on videos, or on brochures, or on folders, and that's because they work. They tend to work really well. Videos in other B2B industries are number one. They're the most important tool, and that's kind of the tip of the iceberg. Everything else those videos are built from everything else that you do in terms of building assets. Those include photos, articles, videos, blogging, that sort of thing. So distribution is really the key. So when we have more distribution, we have more business. Our mission with Exhibit Advisor is to help exhibitors plan and execute the perfect show. And we want to do that by helping you make a great first impression during that planning process. We want to make you look great. We want to know that, when you look great, you close more business. So we have launched Exhibit Advisor. It's a resource guide to help exhibition industry pros find resources, exhibitors find resources. We have over 5,000 products and services contacts, descriptions, searchable and organized by city and category. Your listings, videos, news articles, photos, and contact information are easily found in Google in their ad spots, and then they're also embedded in this guide. So how does this system work? When a visitor first comes to the site, we're going to have them first select a city. We have narrowed it down to the cities that EACA supports, and these are in sync with the member cities that you belong to when you select and sign up for a membership at EACA.com. For this example, we're going to select Las Vegas. From here, we get a city guide. This is our city guide for Las Vegas. We see a comparable cost of living. A couple of examples. In this case, Las Vegas is noted to be approximately 26% less expensive than San Francisco, New York, etc. On the left side, that's the cost of living information. On the right side, we have category listings of services and products that can be found in the city. So let's go look through the installation and dismantle category. From here, we find that the EACA member premium listings are shown first. After the member listings, we are now showing how other companies that are found in that city, and we search Google, and we show the companies by their popularity in Google. So first we're showing EACA premium members, then platinum, then gold, then silver, then bronze, and after that we get Google natural listings. The information that we have on each company is scanned from the internet and aggregated from a number of sources, primarily Google Places, Facebook, LinkedIn, your own website, YouTube, etc. We'll talk more about that later. If your company is displayed in the search results on the left side, we may also display recent videos that you've posted to YouTube or news articles that you've posted to your blog or to Facebook. So over on the right side, we show the newest videos from this set of results. So in this case, we're looking at Gateway Exhibit Services. They're listed on page 2 of our results for I&D Contractor, and their video comes up first because it's the newest video. If there were 3 videos, the videos would be displayed by date in descending order, newest first, and over on the right below the videos we have news stories or blog articles that come from websites that are in the search results. So in this case we're also showing a blog post that came in from Gateway Exhibit Services mentioning that they're going to be rebranding. So next, when I click on a video, I'm going to see the gateway video in kind of what we call a light box in the internet world, as in the surrounding area darkens and we show the video in a pop-up, and that video is intended to be shown all by itself with as few distractions as possible. So we can watch it. I'm not going to put it on our webcast here because it's going to cause a bandwidth crisis. So I've given you guys the link to click through to see that page 2 and to see that gateway video. Now, just one tip for you. Since we're doing this as a side effect of your membership in the EACA, these videos are auto-discovered and included when you release them on YouTube. The only thing that we need to know is we need to know what your YouTube channel is. And the way that we discover that is that we read your home page, and if we find a YouTube link, we're going to assume that that's your YouTube channel, and we're going to associate it with your record. So next, we'll move on to News Showcase. That's below the videos on the right side. We are happy to share your good news with other people. If you have a good case study or a recent project for a client, it's a great idea to blog about that, post that up on your website. And again, we're going to subscribe to your blog, and we're going to pull those blog posts in. Now, in fairness to the visitor, what we're going to be doing, of course, is showing the newest blog posts. If you happen to be far more prolific than your neighbors in this search result, you're going to be listed just once. So your newest blog post is going to show up there. We're going to leave room for other people in this same search result to show their blog post. But if yours is the newest, it will show up on top. So the good behavior that this is we're hoping to encourage here is that you would continue to blog as much as possible and maintain timely announcements, especially because this is just good marketing, and we're going to try to help support you in that. Next, we may feature reviews your customers have left about you on social media. At this point, we are limiting our reviews to just Google Places. So if you have a set of Google Places reviews that are 4 stars or more, we will include that in various places around the website. We actually have a featured area for reviews up at the very top of the city guide. So if you scroll down below the category listing, you'll see that we're showing 3 of the newest reviews in that area, in that city. And then we are also showing the reviews in your directory profile. So let's talk about that company profile for just a minute. So here's Renaissance, and thanks for coming, Haley. In this entry, we have a cover image in the background at the top. That cover image comes from Google Places, and if you are managing your Google Places or Google Business listing, you have the ability to replace all of those images yourself. We have superimposed the Platinum EACA membership badge on top. Below that, we have the website screenshot, and we have a map, and then we have contact information for the company. Now, in this case, we have a small description that was scanned and read from renmanagement.com, and then we also have Instagram posts that we found because that was a link on the Renaissance Management page. So again, all of this information comes from one public database or another. If you have corrections, we can help one of 2 ways. Number 1, we can override the public information that we have scanned and found. That can happen if you don't have control over your social media properties. It's possible. There are a lot of people that have had employees create them, and the employees have left, or they're general members of the public, or in some cases like Facebook, if someone searches on your name, they'll actually create your record for you. We can either override that public information, or we can point out where to make those corrections for you. Let's take a look at a couple more company profiles. Again, if you link to your Facebook, your Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Pinterest social media profiles on your website, we're going to discover them. I don't know if you can see my cursor down there, but just below here for Skyline Displays, just below their website, you'll see a little Facebook, an Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Pinterest icon. Those all link off to their specific distribution channels, social media properties. It's generally claimed that generally, people that have positive reviews and testimonials on their websites will see a 30% increase in business generation. And that's a broad generalization, and it's different for everybody, but generally it's a very good thing. So the reviews are actually also included in here. And again, just a reminder that we're only showing 4 stars and above. You might have 10 reviews in there and you only have 2 4-star reviews. We're only showing the 2 4-star reviews. And that's just generally because we want to accentuate the positive nature of your business. In general, obviously, there are a lot of ways to deal with that kind of reputation management. There are firms that'll do that for you for lots and lots of money. There are a lot of solid techniques you can use yourself, and it is possible to dig yourself out of a hole if you do have a number of negative reviews. But that generally, you should probably be aware of that if that's already happening. So as we scroll on down the page here, this particular client or this particular member, Will Work, has a whole bunch of RSS posts of blog posts that are included in their company profile. And then we also have a number of videos. So we'll show up to 5 videos, the 5 newest videos on your YouTube channel. We'll show up to the 5 newest blog posts that are on your website. And we'll show up to 5 4 or 5-star reviews on your company profile. So, and then photos. We also will show up to 10 photos from Google Places or your Google business listing. That's down here. You'll see that on the next page here. Okay. So the photos are arranged in a gallery so that they'll also pop up in a lightbox. This lightbox is controllable, and there are captions down below. You can kind of see that. It's a little small, so that you can the visitor can page through your gallery, and it's a nice focused presentation where it darkens the background. And then finally, visitors that have registered with Exhibit Advisor can mark favorites in their browser. Mark favorites that will save in their user record. Obviously, they can always bookmark your listings in their browser, but the favorites are a nice place to share them, to keep them in one spot. And then, of course, the exhibitadvisor.com is a mobile-ready website. It uses a lot of mobile technology. And as such, it behaves very much like a mobile app already. And if there is enough demand, we will create a mobile app out of it. We have a number of mobile apps out there, and it wouldn't be hard if there was enough demand to create a mobile version of this. So a couple of key things I wanted to point out. One of the things that Google prefers to use as search engine influencer or a factor in how you are listed in search engines like Google is how credible you are. And one of those credibility factors is if you are linked from another website that is also credible. So we want to help you become more credible by linking to your website from our credible site. And that means obviously that your site eventually is generally ranked higher and found easier by Google users. So let's talk for a few minutes about our sources and go over through that one more time. I've said it once and I said it very quickly, but I think it's worth going further into it. Where does this information come from? That's usually the first question we're asked when we produce something like this. The number one most important source for this, as in, if you don't have one of these, you're not going to show up in our directory. You need to have a Google Place. Google has actually called it by 3 names, this service. It's either called Google Business, Google Places, or Google Local. If you have a record in one of those 3 places, you actually have a record in one place called Google Business. And when you have that, then you can be found in our directory in that city. Generally, you can create one of those Google Business listings for your headquarters and for every one of your locations. So if you are headquartered in Georgia and you have a location in Las Vegas, Atlantic City, and Chicago, then you may find that you have 4 of these Google Business profiles to maintain, keep up to date. In general, your membership record is associated with your headquarters. So in this case, Renaissance shows up at number 1 in Las Vegas, but we are going to show your headquarters listing here. Freeman is the same, Shell-Link is the same. As we go down through this result set, you may be listed again for your location in Las Vegas. Don't panic if that happens. You just need to make sure that your Google Business record is up to date in both locations. Number 2, the second most important source is going to be your EACA membership listing. And that's up on EACA.com. When you go to members, the member company listing system, you'll be able to see a number of things in there. Your name, address, website, but most importantly, it's going to be your cities that you've selected to be in, which markets you have a presence in, and then also which categories you belong to. Then further, number 3, the third most important source is going to be your website. We're going to get your website from one of those other 2 places. Google Business will give us your website, and we'll read it from there. And then we'll also get your website from EACA. If they're the same thing, that's great. If they're conflicting, though, it's kind of unpredictable which one is going to become your authoritative website. So let's make sure that they're the same, or at least if you have a problem with that, give us a call and let us know. So if you have those 3 things in place, you're in great shape. The next thing to be concerned with is to make sure that you're posting your LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Pinterest links on your website somewhere. And that way we can pull in data from those services as well. It's pretty simple. You just need to provide a link, and in general, we can understand a lot of different types of links. YouTube, you can link your channel, or you can link a playlist, and you can actually just link a single video if you like to. We actually will try to figure out which company that original video belongs to, and we'll try to associate that with you as well. So again, number 1, Google Business listing. Number 2, the EACA membership listing. And number 3, your website. And then finally, on your website, make sure you link to all of your social media properties. Now, you're not going to be penalized if you don't have all of those social media properties. It's not necessarily a requirement that you have Pinterest or Facebook. It doesn't necessarily always make sense for someone to have, for business reasons, to have a presence or an active presence on either of those 2. But in general, the more links that we can find, the more data we can aggregate about you. So again, that first one, the Google Business listing, is the most important thing, and it's a free thing. Most people have figured it out, but if you don't have time, or if you just want someone else to take care of it, oftentimes your company will say, hey, I want my attorneys to take care of my business registration. It's not the hardest thing to do in your state, but just to make sure that somebody is managing it for you, we will take care of that, and we have a fee structure for that. So make sure that you have your Google Business listing, and then of course your EACA membership listing. And again, going to eaca.com/join/member companies, and then searching for your member company record there. Check to make sure your cities and categories are accurate. If you need to extend your market scope, obviously that would mean a higher membership level. Memberships start at $750 a year for the bronze, and then go on up. The bronze includes 3 market listings and 1 service category, and obviously there are more details up on there on that website. So members, we really want you to look good. We really want you to have a great cover image, great logo, the EACA membership badge. We want you listed in as many cities as possible. Your website, your Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, and we'll be adding a contact form very soon. If you have corrections that you need made, we're happy to do them for you. We have a local override in that we can set the data explicitly for you. For example, for your description, if you don't like the one that came from your website, and you don't want to change it on your website, but you do want to change it here, we can change it here. You can send updates into updates@eacspace.com. Now, the website itself is also a Google Ad partner, and we are participating in the Google Display Ad Network, and this is a key part of how we're funding this resource guide. So we'd really like you to participate if you can, and we think it's actually a really good strategy for you. Simply because we feel like it's better to place ads on an industry-specific website. The traffic that is there may be lower than other places, but it is the right kind of traffic. And obviously, that means then that your conversion rates on banner ads that are placed via the Exhibit Advisor or the EACA ad network are going to be a higher converting advertisement placement. So the EACA ad network actually includes the Google Display Network, which means that we have over 200,000 websites that we can display your ad on. These reach 90% of all internet users. However, we're not going to just blindly scattershot all of your ads out to the general public. The idea here is that these ad buys that we provide here are going to provide a significantly higher exposure to the right audience and thus generate higher click-through rates than generic ad buying on Google. So how do we do that? We are placing and seeding remarketing on all of the EACA sites. So if you're on EAC registration, for example, or an exhibitor is on EAC registration, we're going to be dropping a cookie. This is how the ad networker works. And we drop a cookie on that person. That person becomes a prospect, and we have 6 months after that cookie is valid, whereupon we can continue to market to that person on all of those other 200,000 websites that they visit. So let me say it again. These sites serve only thousands of visitors, but these are the right visitors. And when we serve these thousands of visitors and then they go out and browse the rest of the internet, they continue to see your ads. So we may show up on, the oddest of sites. If it may be very unusual, but I'll bet there's one, exhibitor out there that visits marthastewart.com. And that person, because they came to register their EAC in March, is now continuing to see ads from our network because she visits that particular place or he visits that place. So banner ads are included in Exhibit Advisor. We also have a rotation which we call house ads, and these house ads can be displayed on our sites at no cost. So if you're an EACA member, and you already have digital ad material, if you have an HTML5 blob that can serve up in an ad slot in the Google network, you can send that to us and we will rotate that in our house ads rotation. And that means then that the thousands of people that are visiting the EACA sites will see your ads in the rotation. And that is a benefit for all EAC members, and there's no cost for that. If you want to invest more and extend the reach of your house ads, all we have to do is apply a budget to generate more impressions outside of the EAC network. I'm sorry, on the network, but outside the EACA sites. Okay? So let me make that really clear. We'd like you to get started as a house ad if you can. These ads will rotate on the EAC properties, but they're not going to go out beyond that. Those house ads live only on EACA.com, ExhibitAdvisor.com, and the EACA shows registration process. However, if you'd like to continue to market to those people as they browse the rest of the internet, we can do that with more. So here's how that works. Again, We start off with an initial visit at one of the EACA properties, eaca.com, EACA shows, or exhibitadvisor.com. Step 2 is that we can then continue to market to them over 6 months after they have visited the EACA site. So these are those little ads that you'll see because you've visited one other site. You continue to see these the ads that follow you around on the internet. If, for example, you were looking at a particular car, you'll notice that once you go out and visit a news site or ESPN or Yahoo or you're listening to music on Pandora, you'll notice that that car actually is being advertised to you repeatedly. It doesn't have to be so much that it's annoying, so don't panic and don't think that we're going to flood your prospects with your ad. But do know that this is just like any other traditional advertising. And the fact is that repeated exposure to good prospects means more sales for you. A word about the EAC registration. We have probably the most qualified set of buyers on the internet that are coming to visit EACA registration. And those are very good prospects for every one of the members of this association. And this is where they will first see your ad. We're currently registering, I don't think it's exactly right, but I think this year we're registering Bio, Fancy Food Show, WEFTech, PAC Expo, RSNA, and NPE. I'm sure Meredith has more details on that. But when the show is being registered, that means that all these exhibitors are coming in and selecting their EAC services. And in doing that, we're going to be tagging their browser and letting Google's display network know that they are one of our prospects. And then Google then lets us remarket to them over the next 6 months. So again, first we're going to reach those visitors that are matching our current customer base. They're already in market for your product and service, and all we're going to do is we're going to just remind them over the next 6 months or so that you exist and that you can do great things with them. The remarketing concept is, if you're not familiar with it, is great because it turns your advertising campaigns into a really great machine for repeatedly exposing people to your messaging. Simply because the conversion rates increase when you generate more impressions in front of a customer. It's a basic rule of advertising that hasn't changed for the 200 or 300 years that advertising has existed. Once you decide to do an enhanced campaign, we will send out an automated monthly report showing the results of your campaign. There's no guesswork here, and we want you to be informed as much as possible. We want to be completely transparent about this stuff, and that will be unlike most of your other non-digital advertising. So it's often been said that half of your advertising dollars are wasted. The question is which half. So that's one of those little jokes we always use in the advertising industry. Now when we talk about it in the form of digital, though, we do know which half is wasted. So what we want to do is we want to share that with you, and if you see that one particular campaign is doing far better than another campaign, obviously you can get in touch with us and change your campaigns. And that's a really spectacular way to improve your conversion rates and actually take that budget, which is maybe earning a certain return. Let's say it's earning a return of $100 for every $1 you spend. That is a time-tested, proven way to improve that return so that you can eventually get to maybe even $1,000 per $1 spent. That's a not unheard of concept, and that is exactly where advertising is going, and this is exactly what will help you in the next couple of decades generate more business. So advertising rates, we have a standard rate. It's $10 per 1,000 impressions in any position and size. We have membership discounts, and we have in-house design. We can help you with we can help you by publishing your own designs, or submit your own, or we can design them for you. You have many ad options. So extending this out, we at $10 per 1,000, obviously a $10,000 monthly 10,000 impression monthly campaign would cost $120. If you are a bronze member of the EACA, you will get a 5% discount on up to a platinum, and that would be 13% discount. And obviously gold 10, silver 7. On up to 100,000 impressions for $1,000 a month, and that would be obviously that would be a hard sell initially to do 100,000, but let's I think it would be wise for you to try a 10,000 impression monthly and work on that. As soon as you understand and have a system with your advertising that returns more than you spend, that's a very good time to increase that spend on a monthly basis. So obviously that's a really big deal. We have plenty of advice, and we have plenty of ways for you to prove that an impression generated a contact, and a contact generated a show or a contract. That's obviously something that's very important to measure. So if your website doesn't actually have the capability of measuring landing and conversions on forums or orders or that kind of thing, obviously we'd love to help you with that too. I just actually just last week we have another company, another very good customer who told me just last week that he has a whole crew of salespeople, and he's the sales manager, and he came out with a contact form that led to a $4 million contract, and he went onto the sales floor where those guys will all work the phones, and none of them had generated that contact that came from advertising. So it may be unusual at this point for you guys in your industry right now to notice that much of your business is coming from online advertising and your online presence, but it won't be long, and it won't be long before that very first time when you actually have a really large customer, when a very large customer comes in just because of your online presence. I know you're going to be skeptical, but we'll talk about that after it happens. So EIC space websites, these are websites that are designed specifically for the exhibit contracting industry. We know you guys really well. We understand your problems and your challenges, and we understand that you have long sales cycles and you want to keep in contact with folks. These sites will work with CRM systems. They'll work with online advertising. They'll work with just about any scenario that you can throw at us. When we do a website, it's going to be updated on a regular basis, and we're providing very secure hosting, and all of that's included in a very affordable plan. We will also, one other highlight, I think, is that we will provide unlimited content changes for you. So traditionally, you've either done one thing or the other. You've either done the website all yourself and you make all the content changes yourself, or you have a firm do it, and then that firm does everything for you. Well, we're talking about a combined approach here where we will create the site for you. We will give you the keys to let you in and edit the website with as much privilege as you like. And then we will also respond to requests to make changes for you. So if you're on the showroom floor, you have a fact that's wrong, a phone number that's incorrect, or something's changed, you can text us or email us with that change, and we'll make the change for you. So we've seen that that's actually the most effective way to maintain a really solid asset in your website. So we have, and we would like to offer to score your website. If you have a website that you'd like to know how well you're doing right now, we have a SEO checklist, we have a mobile checklist, and then we will score your site if you'd like, and we will even include a competitor of yours, maybe somebody that you admire, or maybe somebody that you would like to leave behind. So let's talk for just a few minutes about ad types, and then I think we've got time for questions. So advertising in the Exhibit Advisor resource guide, EACA.com, and the EAC registration process will generally have these formats. We have a medium rectangle, there's a leaderboard, there's a large rectangle, we have a large mobile banner, we have a large skyscraper, and we have in-article ads. If someone is visiting any one of those three sites on a mobile device, we also have the full screen pop-up. We have the bottom sticky banner and the top sticky banner as well. All of those things all work with the website. So in terms of creative, this is often, a real challenge when you're first starting. We've got if you have an existing ad set that you'd like us to use, we can easily, and it's the right size for the slot that you'd like, we can easily include those in your campaigns and just put them right into the house ad rotation. There's no charge for DIY or if you have existing assets. If you would like us to build ads for you, an ad can be a very complex piece of code. So we start with kind of a static ad. That's really generally just a badge or a graphic of some kind. We'll include up to 3 edits. First ad group is 300. Each additional one is 150. An ad group is the same content, colors, graphic, and information, but it's in a different format, different size. So I'm sorry, each additional might be additional colors or that sort of thing. So on up from the static ads, we have animated ads. These are ads that generally have some kind of movement, like a panel that flows across, or a zoom in on a price, or a late reveal of some kind of a fact, like a person's face or some crazy surprise. Those are generally going to be $4.50 or so, and then we can do full-on video ads as well. So if you'd like, there are plenty of things we can do with video. Actually, the video can go in the website, start with sound off, and then we allow the customer to turn the sound on. But an additional place we can put videos is actually at the head of a YouTube video. So pre-roll on a YouTube video is a very popular outlet for your video ads. So just imagine, again, someone registered their EAC preferences in a show, and then they went to YouTube at some time later in the week to watch something, and your ad shows up before the video that they're looking to see. Really great opportunity for you. So here's our team. We obviously we're Alpine Internet. We've been around for a very long time. In internet years, I think that's at least 140 years. We like to joke that they're about the same as dog years. So we've been around for at least 20 years. And this is me. I'm the technical lead, the founder of the company, and I make sure everybody can work well together. We have Mike Alaria. He's the marketing director. Really creative guy, super creative guy, really good at understanding how your strategy can influence people's actions. Very helpful for that. Anne-Marie Daggett is traditional marketing. She's terrific with radio, television, very creative as well, but also making sure your brand is represented well in kind of all the traditional marketing, print, that sort of thing. Jennifer is our web stylist. She's terrific, just a really down-to-earth personality and very creative. So frequently asked questions. I'm going to go through just the first couple of them, and then let's stop and we'll answer questions interactively. Number one, the question we usually get is, can I prevent competitor X from showing up on my profile page? The answer is no. We're not managing the ad rotation for you. Google does that. But please just also think of it this way. We can't prevent your ad from showing up on their profile page. So get your house ads in. Spend a budget that's reasonable, and you'll be your presence will be everywhere. Can we manage other digital ad campaigns for you? The answer is yes, of course we can. We've partnered with just about everybody that does digital advertising: Apple mobile device ads, Pandora, YouTube, Google search, lots of things. But each one of these is different, and we would have to do a custom proposal for each one that you're doing now. But do keep in mind, if it has to do with Google, generally we're going to be able to integrate that with the EACA ad network, which does mean, I think, that we're going to be able to deliver better conversion. And finally, can you improve our website? Yes, we can. We already talked about that. Can we integrate with HubSpot, Infusionsoft, other lead generation systems? Of course we can. We can produce monthly CSVs, and those all can be imported into systems like HubSpot and Infusionsoft. If we need beacon images or scripts installed, we're happy to do that too. And the final one we always get is, can you add this other service category? We can't. We're not EACA. The EACA management and board decides on what service categories you guys have. Unfortunately, we call this the yellow pages problem. Generally, what happens is that people think that they want to be put into a special category which puts them all in there by themselves. But in fact, that actually makes it harder for your visitors to find you. So we generally don't want to do that. And the other thing is, can I join for only part of the year? We're going to be we're going to be doing this for a 12-month campaign. We would prefer to be doing this over the course of a year, and we're going to be doing another. There will be a 2019 Exhibit Advisor version, and we'll launch that with new features, consistent permalinks for all of the existing profiles, and we're going to be building this up year after year. We've got a really great product right now, and next year's product's going to be even better. So we want to keep improving this. And then how do reviews work? Can we delete or add reviews? No, we're just simply going to be pipelining these reviews in from Google, and we're just going to make sure that they're good, positive reviews. We're not going to get in the way and try to play the game of interpreting what a review means and whether or not it's positive.
Thanks, Brian.
And then, of course, we would love to have feedback.
We
believe our success will
Haley,
be only
first of all, if you have any
based on your success with this program. If you have
in the chat box
ideas, we want to hear them.
But just for starters,
and thank you.
Brian mentioned at the top.
Let's open this up for questions.
Resource guide is available at exhibitadvisor.com, but just so you know, you don't have to remember another URL. There'll be a link on the homepage of the EACA site at EACA.com, just like we have a link to the registration site for EAC registration, among other things, and the purchase program. So just want you to know that off the top. Another point that I wanted to mention is that the idea for promoting this guide came out of conversations with members of our board who have noticed within their own businesses that a lot of the opportunities for new business come to them by way of people that have done a lot of research already online. It's one of the things that the trade show exhibitors are noticing too, is that when a a prospect shows up at the booth, they many times know a whole lot about the company that they're coming to visit, and they may have a couple of 2 or 3 questions that help them to decide whether or not you're going to be in their consideration set. So this is an opportunity for our members to be able to join in the opportunity to get in front of prospective buyers who do a lot of that research online, just like consumer behavior. You know, people shop all the time on Amazon, and I know my wife does for sure, based on the number of packages we get at the door every day. So purchasing behavior is going online. We want our members to be present there. And as Brian mentioned, we have for 20 years now been helping major trade shows with the registration of EACs at the show because it's a challenge that they have of doing it for themselves. Historically, that drives a lot of traffic to our website. And average traffic rates have been as high as 10,000 visits a month to that site for people registering their EAC or looking for potential suppliers at cities that maybe they don't go to all the time. So that's the other opportunity that we wanted to share. And I think one of the best things you might want to start with in terms of, well, how do I make sense of all of that? And thank you, Brian, for a great presentation. But the web score tool, I think, is a good place to start. See how your site is doing now. Is it reaching people that you want to reach? And if not, then we have a bunch of tools here supplied by Brian at Alpine and EAC Space that might help you get out and find that unknown prospect that otherwise you might never have tripped across. So we encourage you to take a look at that and to check it out and to take a look into the Exhibitor Resource Guide and take advantage of all that it has to offer. So Brian, I think you did a terrific job. Haley, if I'm noticing that you didn't post a question, I'm guessing that you don't have anyone at present, but if something should come up after the fact, do you think of it? Certainly happy to circle back with me at jimworm@eaca.com, and we'll connect you with Brian and all the people that you might need to support your efforts. So Brian, any other final thoughts or comments before we end our session today?
Just let me reiterate that our success is based on your success, and that's really an important thing that we take to heart here. We believe that our customers really they're only going to buy more digital marketing when that marketing works. So obviously, we really want to help you get started. We want to help you
Thank
develop
you,
it,
Brian,
and we
and
want
thank
to help
you, Haley, for
optimize
your
it. And there are
participation.
many,
And
many,
this will
many
end
ways to do
our
that. So
webcast on Internet